Good night. My name is Chanel. I am the host of tonight, and we have my co-host.
I'm Kia, and I'm co-hosting for tonight.
And
And we have our
tonight
special
we
guest.
have our special guest, Anna Williams, of course. Anna, go ahead and introduce yourself. Kind of just let people get a feel for you before we jump into the podcast.
First of all, y'all look so beautiful.
Oh,
I feel like
thank you.
I need
So
to
are
put.
you.
Is there a filter for me? Because I need a filter.
Anna, I don't know
Girl.
if we can do filters. I think only the person that's hosting can do the filter.
Oh, that's so ugly. I'm gonna write it
I
down.
know.
Do a little intro, Anna. Do a little, so they warm up to you when you
Yes,
come in. Go ahead.
I'm trying to make sure everybody don't see the light in my glasses, but
Oh,
yes,
okay, I got you.
yes, I am Anna Williams, aka Anna Inspires, and I am literally just existing as a vessel to be. I guess I like to say I live my life as a love letter to Black girls
Okay.
because I like to
Okay.
prioritize wellness and mental health. So that's literally everything I do, from being a wife, a mother, an educator, entrepreneur, content creator. That's me.
She is a woman
Period.
of many hats. And fun fact, guys, before we rebranded, we had Anna on our podcast before, and it was a vibe. So, of course, she's back again
Yes.
tonight now that we've rebranded. So, that's
Love
just a
it.
little bit to kind of bring her in. So, we're going to go ahead and, Kia, what you sipping on? Because
I
I'm
was
not
about to
sipping
ask
on
y'all
nothing.
just pineapple mango juice.
Look,
Just
I
some
had,
juice.
I had some Celsius. Oh, I tried that for the
What's that,
first
Anna?
time. The
it's,
watermelon Celsius.
so I'm addicted to ice. So remember I told you I like my
Yep.
ice on milk. So so I got my ice in my.
Uh-huh.
That's crazy. And then to
Yep.
put milk on it
I know
is
it's weird,
insane.
but it tastes so good.
We've done the intro. All right. I don't know why I wrote in pink pen, but I wrote in pink pen and can't read it.
And we're
Okay.
wearing pink. Where's your pink? This was
Nobody
not planned.
informed me we were wearing
I
pink,
didn't
baby. So,
know. I was about to hit you with the on Wednesdays wear pink. Definitely not Wednesdays.
uh-huh.
Right.
All right, y'all. So the first question, as Anna has already stated, she's a content creator. She's so much more, a mom, entrepreneur, and so forth. So if many of y'all don't know, Anna does have an Instagram page. It's called Well Black Girl, where she kind of touched on, mental health and motherhood, and just creating a space for women of any color, of course, to kind of feel free to interact, do activities and so forth. So for the first question, we want to jump into Well Black Girl because that's, of course, part of you. All right, with Well Black Girl, if you want to touch on how it started, kind of like how the idea came about, and kind of explain to us like who benefits from it. Go a little bit more in depth for me so our audience can kind of understand what's
Yeah.
going on with that.
As y'all see, I took the glasses off because it was just too much of a glare. But Well Black Girl was established way before the pandemic. And I say way before, it wasn't that far off. But it was elevated during the pandemic. But it was created because I wanted to see something like that and I didn't see it. So throughout my pregnancies, I dealt with postpartum depression.
Mm-hmm.
And I never felt like I had a safe space to talk about it. So thus the prioritization of wellness. And for years, even going through my teenage years and going to adulthood, I never knew what depression was. And I didn't find that out until after my second child that I was depressed. So I'm like, there got to be other Black girls going through this. It can't just be me.
Right.
So I figured sometimes we have to create those spaces that we needed, even if we're not in a space that we need them. Thus, Black girl. So it's just for Black women because I put Black women on the pedestal. Everything that I do is for Black women and brown women too. But it's just to help destigmatize how we view mental health and to make
Love
sure
that.
we're prioritizing it. So yeah.
I
That's
love that.
awesome.
Because mental health is such a taboo topic in a lot
Mm-hmm.
of Black households. And usually, like, our parents, they kind of just, like, brush it off, or it's
Yeah.
like, you may not feel good and may want to, like, arrest it from school or whatever. And it's like, oh, no, you're getting up and you're going to school. Like, they don't believe in, like, kids taking a mental health day. And I'm hearing more, like, parents say that they're going to allow their kids to take a mental health day if they need it because, like, there's so many issues you deal with in school. And we just got to break that generational curse of like just disregarding and thinking, oh, you're too young to go through this, you're too young to go through that. And it's like, no, you're not. Kids get bullied and all types of things. So yep.
And kids deal
I,
with a lot. Kids really deal with a lot. And I'm mindful of that as I parent my kids because my
Mm-hmm.
mother wasn't aware. So she couldn't support me because she wasn't aware. But now that I'm aware, I can support my kids. So we
I
might
Right.
was
get
gonna
some
I
curses.
was going to go ahead and add to that what you said. It does have a lot to do with your cultural differences. I feel like a lot of times, like women of color aren't given that platform to express yourself, or you kind of look at as I want to say minorities in general. Let's just say minorities. We're not really taking the time to sit down and say, okay, let's just discuss this over dinner, or like sit down as a
Mm-hmm.
family, let's have dinner. Let's most times it's like you're even with men too, the stigma is kind of like, you're tough, you're hard, like that's what they portray you as. But I'm like, at the end of the day, we're all human, whether you're male or female, you still go through things. So, having that space to kind of express yourself as a female, it is okay to do that amongst other female who may, understand you a little bit better. So I do agree with you that when it comes to minorities in the household, a lot of times it's kind of like, oh, suck it up, deal with it. Or our parents, weren't introduced to, oh, let's do a mental health day. I do that with Elena. Like, she'll get up one day and she'll say, Mom, she's like, Mom, I'm just not in the mood to go to school today. And I say, you know what? If it's a viable reason she hasn't missed school often and so forth, I'm like, it's okay. And I give her that one day break. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I agree with you for sure. So from there, perfect follow up. Next question we're going to hop into is therapy fundamental? Is it a fundamental topic to discuss in the household? Why or why not?
Hmm.
Go ahead, Anna. You're the guest.
I was going to say, who's
Like,
going
you're
to
a guest.
start this?
You're the expert
Right.
on going to therapy and all that. So
So I personally think it depends on the family. I think everybody can create their own dynamics, and some families are not open to therapy because of the trauma that it unloads. But I am a champion for therapy. So for my household, it is fundamental. Everybody's in therapy except for the 3-year-old and the 5-year-old. So the older two, my husband and I, it's something that has to be prioritized because we're constantly unlearning, we're constantly growing, and it is a major part of our I'll say just our life routine, because I don't want to say daily, because of course we don't go to therapy
right.
every day, but I think that if we can normalize what it looks like, then it would create a comfortable pathway for more people to say, if I need the support, I know where to find it, and then I can have it.
I like that because a lot of people they don't get introduced until they're adults.
Mm.
So I like that you're introducing your kids while they're kids because, like you say, then when they get older, if they do need that support, they know where to find it. Because a lot of us, it's not until we're an adult and it's like, man, we go through something super traumatic, and it's like, okay, now we're dealt with that as a last resort where we never were. It was never talked about in the household.
Mm-hmm.
So would you encourage others to try it out, or are you still taking the approach of like, whatever works for the family?
No, I do. I do. I think that, let me tell you, if I could get my mama in therapy, that'll be like the biggest win for me. Because my mom is one, she's been institutionalized, so she's done, her time. And she's also, I'll say this and I'll make a general statement about it, but I speak about my mom a lot because that's my processing. And if you listen to my podcast, it's the transformation for me. I speak on what that journey is because it's a lot of unlearning that I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I would love to have her walk with me on that journey, but she's not ready. Like, just because I'm an advocate for it, I think that I encourage it, but I don't push it on anybody because you have
Gotcha.
to be ready to be in that space of discomfort because therapy is not fun. Like, it's not fun, but you have to go in with intention, with a goal, and if you're willing to do that, I think that it will work out. But some people go and they like, ain't nothing happened, but work have to be done. So I would always encourage it, but I would never push it on somebody because it's not for everybody.
I
Gotcha.
would like to also follow up and add that would you suggest going to therapy even if you're not going through anything? Do you just feel like it's good to incorporate, like, for example, with the kids, like, they may have not gone through a lot because they're so young, but is it something that you feel could get them further in life? What are your thoughts on that now that you've experienced it as a parent? And what are the effects, the positive effects that you've seen on your child or your children so far?
Okay, so for my experience, what I'll say is we always want to be proactive. So we don't need to wait until something happens
Agreed.
for let me put them in therapy. Being proactive means that you see something, you might not know what it is,
Right.
and you need another pair of eyes. Like for Ava's my 11-year-old, my little preteen. So
Right.
Ava sees her therapist like twice a month. And she sees her just all the time to talk about her wins, how she's been doing great at things. So all of her sessions are not really deep, but when they
Right.
need to be deep, she's there. My husband and I, we do individual and couples, and we recently just had a couples. Nothing was wrong, but we needed a checkup. You know, let's check in. Our dynamics has changed because now I'm working because I want to be home,
Right.
but I am working, and we got to create a new list of boundaries. So let's just have a little checkup and see what it is. So it's not always about waiting until something is wrong. I'm an advocate for being proactive. So even if I tell my friends when they're dating, if this is somebody who you want to build with, not a lifelong partner, but if this is somebody you want to build with, go to therapy.
Right.
So get that checkup. Just how you go to the doctor and you check. You don't do your checkup because something is wrong. You might go to urgent care or the emergency, but
Mm-hmm.
do your checkups. So even if you have a therapist, you might not need to see them every month, but maybe every quarter just to
Right.
check in. And some people are
Okay.
more open to life coaches. Some people are open to just having an accountability buddy. So anything that supports you mentally, and to me, I feel like it needs to be a professional because we got our friends,
Yeah.
and we got our girlfriends, but they not professionals
Right.
because they could be sitting with you in your depression, and that might not be what you need.
True.
Right. And they may not always know like the correct response. I may not know what to
Yes,
say.
yes,
So I guess that's where the professional would come in because they may give
yeah.
you like tips on how to cope or
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
also feel that a lot of times we honestly don't know what depression look like because everybody's version of it is so different. So like you say, you might need someone else to go ahead and take a second look because you could see someone super happy today and then gone tomorrow. And you're like, well, wait a minute, what happened? You missed all the signs
Mm-hmm.
because they just never showed it to you. So I agree that having someone who is professionally
Mm-hmm.
trained sometimes is good to look at these things because you within yourself sometimes don't even know. For example, let's just use stress. Let's kind of shift a little bit from depression and go through stress. Stress is like not everybody goes through depression, but you may have down times. But I feel like stress is such a natural response in our system, that flight or fight mode. I feel like a lot of times we are stressed. Like I've been stressed before and not know it. My mom's like, Chanel, you're stressed. And I'm like, no, I'm not. And she's like, well, you're yelling when you talk. And I'm like, no, I'm not. But again, she's recognizing it because she's hearing my tone change. And me personally, I'm like going through my head, I'm like, well, this isn't a stressful situation. I'm like, this doesn't make me mad. So I'm going through and I'm like, I don't feel stressed. But then it's like, okay, I may go to sleep earlier that night. And she's like, yep, this is not routine. So a lot of times someone else can pick up
Mm-hmm.
on certain things. And I'm like, I've been through a lot. And I'm like, okay, I'm not stressed. I'm cool. And child, according to my, your mom's that always gonna diagnose your child. But
Yes.
apparently I was stressed. So you can take on a lot of times. You can be stressed. You end up going to the doctor and you don't know that you're stressed until they tell you. And a lot of time it just feels normal because you're so programmed, you're so routine. You don't take a moment to stop and say, let me check my mental health. Let me do this. A lot of time we're so programmed to be on the go, we don't catch the signs.
Mm-hmm.
Baby, I know I'm stressing when I start seeing one or two more extra gray hairs. I say, oh, wait a minute.
Not
I
Yes.
extra.
haven't hit 30 yet, and I got the gray. And then that's when I start to figure, I'm like, oh, maybe I'm overthinking on something, and that's my way of stressing, and I don't
Mm-hmm.
notice. Because stress doesn't mean you're
Mm-hmm.
just having a mental breakdown. It could just mean you have a lot going on your
Mm-hmm.
plate, and you can't get it all done, and then you start
Yes.
wondering and worrying like, oh my gosh, I got to get this done. I have a deadline, and that is stress, and you just
Yep.
trying to get through your task. So a lot of times we overlook the simplest of things, and that can cause us, harm in the long run. So if you can have someone take a look at that, or a professional, like you said, nothing has to be wrong for you to go to therapy. And I love the fact that therapy right now is such a I don't want to say normalized topic, but it's easier to talk about versus back in the day.
Yes.
It's
Mm-hmm.
okay. Like a
I
lot of
agree.
times people get stigma from it, like, oh, you may be mental, you may be, so it's
Yes.
good to
Yeah,
kind of
something's
just
wrong with
Yep.
you.
right. Something's just wrong because you went to therapy. No, it could help you be a lot further in
But
life and
that's our
get you that step that you need.
culture.
Right.
Our culture
Mm-hmm.
makes us feel, well, I won't say makes us, has made us
Right.
feel that something's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like, oh, okay, well, I remember you go to the cookout, auntie, yeah, she crazy.
Right.
Yeah, she see a
Right.
little, but
Yeah.
that's not. Auntie was dealing with some stuff. That's why she was
Right.
going to see somebody about it.
Right.
So I think that you make that was a perfect point, Chanel. And as Black women, a lot of us, and I'm just gonna switch out the word you use. You said we're programmed, we're functioning,
Right.
and whatever that is. So
Right.
we've learned how to function. For me, I function in my depression. So I could be on this live. I could be. So I'm not right now. I'm gonna let y'all know.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm in a very happy
As an
place,
example, yeah,
but
I see where
mine
you're
for
going.
me, it was always difficult and very confusing for my husband.
Right.
So he always thought it was him. He thought he did something wrong, and it wasn't him. I didn't even know what it
Right.
was, but I was still going through life. I was happy. I was in college. I was doing my thing. I had other kids, and on the back end, I would come home, do nothing, lay around all day, and be just so angry.
Right.
And I couldn't figure out why. And they're like, but I just saw her. She was so happy. Like, she was just out drinking. And then, but I
Right.
was functioning. So a
Uh
lot of us know how to
huh.
function in
Yep.
these unhealthy ways. And we've just maneuvered through life in that way. So until we see, like, you have your mom is like, baby, you tired. Go to
Right.
sleep early. You stress, chill, take a deep breath. We need those people around us who see the change
Right.
and can point it out. And sometimes we can learn to see it within ourselves, but having a great support system also segues into therapy, because sometimes your friends got to tell you, boo, y'all going through a lot. Y'all need therapy.
Right.
Or
Mm.
you dealing with a lot. You can't do it by yourself. You need therapy.
Mhm.
But yeah,
And
everything you
there's
said,
nothing
I agree with
wrong.
that.
There's nothing wrong with accepting help as well. I know sometimes we have this like, just as women in general, we have this like, oh, we got to be strong. We can't break down. We can't, we build a
Mhm.
barrier when there's like not a need for barriers. So sometimes you just need that helping hand and a judge-free zone where you don't feel like, oh, if I say something to this person, oh, they might think, and then your friendship
Right.
change off of that one thing. You should be, like I said, you should surround yourself with people that you can rely on and say, hey, I'm just having a hard day.
Yeah.
This is what I think, or and someone that could just give you some encouraging words, because sometimes all you need is just just a little bit a boost. Just say, what, I pray for you. You know what, you may not go into detail about what your stress and
Hmm.
what your struggles are, but you just ask your friends, and listen, I know a little bit of prayer. Do you have any suggestions? And it's good when you have those helpful friends around you that may say, I think this is a sign of therapy. I think my friend going through something. Let me talk to her. Let me call her. Let me send her a gift. It's just, you never know. And that's why they always say you got to be kind to people, because you don't know what they're going through.
Yeah.
And you could just
Mhm.
make so much of a difference in somebody's life by just saying something small, a little good morning, how you doing. That might just change their whole day, their whole mindset. So I feel like, it just depends on where you are in life. And, we all have those ups, we all have those downs. It's all about how you persevere through it. So at the end of the day, it's okay to accept help. It's okay if you're going through like a mental situation. And mental doesn't mean, oh, I'm gonna just shut down, I'm gonna go to the war, I'm on Baker rack, I'm hurt. It doesn't look like that.
Hmm.
Mental could just be like, I have too much on my plate and I don't know how to clear it.
Mhm.
That's it. So that's just that when it comes to it. Do you guys have another point, or
I
Mhm.
you want me to?
just I want to say, so whoever's on the live and whoever sees it later,
Right.
Black women, Black men, I need them to understand that it is okay to give yourself permission to do
Right.
whatever. I think sometimes we're locked into this life,
Mm,
and sometimes it starts from our childhood, that we don't give ourselves permission to accept support. We don't
right.
give ourselves permission to do things differently.
Right.
And I think I've learned, over years and based on experience, that I've had to relinquish a lot of stuff, but first I had to give myself permission to do that.
Right.
So give yourself permission.
That's a good one. Yeah, it's like we be having a point to prove. Like you don't like
And
it
it's to
doesn't make you less than if
ourselves.
you
It's
need
to
help.
ourselves.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like who are you trying to prove that you can do it all? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You
Right.
can't do it all. Literally, cannot do it all. So yeah, I agree with that.
Okay, y'all. So now, transitioning, because tonight, of course, we're focusing on therapy.
Hmm.
We're focusing on, mental health. We're focusing on mentorship, just different things to help you grow. These just free advice. You could take what benefits you and leave what doesn't. So the next question we're going to transition into, when it comes to kind of, I guess, piggybacking off therapy, how do you feel about having professional mentorship? Do you feel like going through life, it's a good thing to have a mentor? Do you feel like what are your thoughts on that, having a professional mentor? That doesn't mean a therapist, but someone you feel, it could be a pastor, it could be someone that's in business or whatever the case is. How do you feel like that'll help you on your journey in life?
I think, you have to be clear. So clarity is important first. You have to be clear on what it is that you're trying to accomplish.
Right.
And depending on what that is, the mentor may be necessary. For me,
Okay.
as it pertains to wellness, I have mentors in wellness
Right.
because it is a road that I'm embarking on that I'm experienced and knowledgeable of. However, there's still a lot that I don't know. Even with business, one of my goals is for my other business, Tribe of Sunflowers, is to open a Black women owned and operated luxury after work lounge. So it's like a
Okay.
co-working lounge, but after work. And it's also a wellness lounge, of course.
Okay.
So I've had to connect with people, Black women, who already have co-working spaces because I don't want to sit with somebody who can tell me how to build the business, but they're not running one. So
Right.
it's
Oh,
more
baby.
aligned.
Repeat. Wait. Pause. Repeat that again. Repeat that again. Because that's true. You want to get information from people that are
I know,
above you and that are
because that's
successful.
standing on business. Look, let me put the
Right.
glasses back on. That's standing on business.
That is
So
true, though.
we
I
don't
do
need
agree to
anybody
that.
telling us how to handle a business that they're not even running.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
So there are people who can tell you how to make money, but for me, I want to build longevity connections, longevity businesses, things that are going to create generational health and wealth. And sometimes that requires having a mentor. Mentors are there so you can jump over some of the mistakes that you don't need to make. And I think some people they don't think about it that way. They think this person is just going to give you all the things. No,
Right.
some of it you got to research on your own. Your
Right.
mentor is just there to help you avoid a lot of the things that they went through, so you don't have to. And
Right.
I'm open to paying for mentorship. Like I love that. If there's somebody in my lane and they have a fee, it's an investment.
And
So
Right.
even if
yeah.
if it's somebody from the church, and it's like I don't ever want anybody to be giving me anything that is taking their time and their education and their experience, and it's for free
Correct.
because that's gonna burn them out. But I think
Right.
that
Mm-hmm.
professional mentorship is something that I am also an advocate for. You don't have to do it alone. It's so difficult when you're doing it by yourself and you don't know where to start. If the
Sure
mentorship
enough
you
is.
have access, use it. Did I
Awesome.
answer the
Kia, did you have any?
question?
No, you did. You did. Did you have any thoughts on mentorship? Like, would that be something? This is for Kia. Would that be something you would be interested in the future? Do you feel like it's needed? What are your thoughts and takeaway from
Uh,
that?
like Anna says, I think for like she said, first you have to determine like what's your end goal and like what you're trying to achieve and accomplish. So, yes, I definitely would be open to it.
Right.
I can't say like can't pinpoint a date because I do need to like sit down and like
Right.
really
Right.
determine like what it is, that I am trying to achieve like within myself. So that will determine, the route I take. But yeah, I'm totally for it. Like she said, you really can't go through life alone. And at some point, we all have to realize that, we can try as hard as we can, but we're going to run into a brick wall soon enough trying to do everything
Mhm.
by ourselves. So, yep.
I agree. I feel like having a mentor is important. Um, Maybe not all through life, not really when you're going through a difficult time, but when you feel like sometimes you may not know that you need help when you need help, if that makes sense, just to
Mhm.
clarify that. Like
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it could be, motherhood. Like we are mothers, sometimes it's good when it comes to being mentored by your mother. If you have a great example, and you see that, okay, she raised you right, she did this. Sometimes it's okay to just step back and take that advice. That's something I had a hard time at first with as a new mom. I just felt like, oh, I got this. Like, I knew this. And then it got to the point my mom's like, uh-huh. I'm like, all right, here I come. Let me come for advice. So you do get to that point, like, so I would consider like my mom as like a mentor. Like she, when you go through something, and I've mentioned before, her first thing is go to prayer. My first thing is like stress first, all right? And then here I'm coming, God, I'm coming with the stress. Because naturally you're like, oh my God, what am I going to do in this
Mhm.
situation? So I'm like, okay, I always try to remind myself, let's focus on praying first about the situation. It's not going to fix it immediately, but at least you done sent your request to God and he'll work on your behalf and you do the rest. But we're in that flight or fight mode. Most times we just, okay, something's going on, boom, we just start freaking out. Our minds are all right. You're just all over the place. You don't gather your thoughts together. You don't sit down. You don't take a moment to just say, you know what? Let me just sit down and think. I've been doing that a lot lately. Like when stuff been getting hectic and stuff, I sit down and I'm like, whew, let me take a deep breath.
Yes.
One moment. Like let me just get myself together. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a lot of times we don't do that. We rush through something, we jump through something, and it's like, okay. And then you put yourself through all that stress just for it to be okay at the
Yeah.
end. So I feel like sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
when you have that person as your backbone that's saying, hey, don't worry about it. You prayed, I prayed, God gonna work on your behalf. And you have that, like, okay, let me just calm down. It's okay. They done been through, like for me, my mom, she done been through life. She's older. She done been through life. So I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, she done got this far. She got to be doing something right to be trying to help me. You know what I'm saying? According to the Caribbean culture, you're still coming while they're going. You're still
Mhm.
learning. You're still on your way. So it's good when not every advice is good advice, but if you've, been with the person that's giving you the right direction in life, why not accept that help? It's okay to get that help. So I'm learning that as I continue to go, it's okay to ask for help, because sometimes we have this mentality of like, we don't want to be looked down upon. We don't want like, okay, let me need help with my kid. It makes you feel like you're less of a mom, less of a parent. No, it doesn't. We just all need a break. Your child need a break from you sometimes. They see your
Mm-hmm.
face every day. And there's nothing wrong with that. You need a break from your child. So, we just gotta take life with strides, and look for someone that, like I said, doesn't have to be a paid mentorship, but look for someone that has good values, good core, good beliefs, things that when things go down from there, they're always there to lift you up. They're always pouring into your cup, and somehow you're able to pour back into their cup. So that's my little thoughts on that. So, hopping into the next question. This is kind of last question to sum it up. I was asking you to list 3 books. It doesn't have to be 3, but you could just list any books that you feel like are good, that maybe our audience aren't aware of when it comes to mental health, parenthood, entrepreneurship, like the things that, you're pursuing your career, your goal in. What are books that you could recommend to kind of help us into the process?
Well, there's Ava. Ava. This girl walk around with her headphones on. Come here. Get my book from right here.
That's all the kids.
Pre-teenager, pre-teen.
Get
Yeah,
my book
that's
from.
all the
Hurry up.
teenagers do that.
Preteen. They're
And
gonna
then
do
she
that.
walks so slow. She have no sense of urgency. Right under there. Look under
She's
there.
like,
Look
this ain't
under
got
there.
nothing to do with me.
Right, yeah, do my own thing.
It's 2 books. The books are right on the TV stand. Let me bring them. Bring them, girl.
And y'all feel free to comment if there's
Thank you
anything
kindly.
that y'all
Oh,
want
get
to
that other
add
book
or
off.
that registers.
Real quick. Get the book off my stand under the mirror. The mirror. Goodness.
So let's
Okay,
take them headphones
so
out.
so this book is a really good book. I'm all about Black authors and supporting Black people, but this one isn't a Black book, and that's okay.
That's
But it's
okay.
by a psychologist.
We love it all over here.
Yes.
Everywhere. We love it all.
So this one is by a psychologist. She's a holistic psychologist. I followed her on Twitter, and she be saying some real stuff. Like she did like she shares tweets from the book, but she spoke about like how it's not our responsibility to parent our parents. And I was
Okay.
like, ooh, that hit different for me.
Right.
She
Mm-hmm.
talks about intergenerational trauma and just a lot of stuff, but it's called How to Do the Work. So I think that this is a good introduction to anybody who's looking into therapy and you kind of don't want to go and you don't want to say nothing to nobody. This is a good starter. Because sometimes when
How
you
to
talk to
do the work.
yourself,
Okay, I'm gonna look for it on
yeah.
Spotify because
How to do
yeah,
the
I'm
work.
in my
Okay.
audiobooks these days.
I wonder if there's an
I'm
audiobook.
gonna
I don't even know
see.
how she sounds. There's there's another book. It's by Lala, or is it Lala or Layla? I don't know how to pronounce her name, but I do know it's called Vibrate Higher Daily.
Okay.
Her name is Lala Delia. I'll post the books on my Instagram story after this live
Okay,
so people can see it. And this is a
so
book of
follow her,
poems.
guys.
This is a book of poems called Black Girl Call Home. And it's by a New York author. She's just like us, young, Black, doing it. Um, she's in the industry, so she sells your greens. And
Okay,
she helps to, she started this campaign to make sure that when you bought your greens, you bought them from Black women and not just Black men. So, but she's a
Oh,
poet
okay.
though. She's a poet. And to me, this is very relaxing for Black girls. So if
what's
you're
it called again?
interested, Black Girl Call Home.
Okay, Black Girl Call Home.
Okay. So if you guys are interested in any of those books to
Yes.
kind of give a general
Oh, and
idea of
if you
what they
married,
cover.
real quick, Marriage Be Hard.
Marriage Be Hard. Okay, so she suggested a few books for y'all, so y'all want to check those out. In the intro, she kind of gave, just a general intro of what she's into, what she does. So that's kind of how the books came about.
Yes,
so
thank you.
So y'all, we're summing up the night. So we typically sum up the night with a little game. We can't just get all, into the deep stuff and not the fun stuff.
Woo!
It's not much, but we're gonna get into it. Tonight we typically do the speed round game, but tonight we're gonna do a little this or that, something fun. Okay. So actually, because we did talk about books, I have here, would you rather do a playlist or would you rather do a podcast? So I guess you would say more like audiobooks, podcasts. What would be your preference? This or that, kind of.
Audiobook or podcast? That's the
No, I'm sorry.
I'm like clarify.
No. It's the question I had is playlist or podcast. So I guess you could do audiobooks. Like, would you rather listen to an audiobook or would you rather listen to an actual podcast? Yeah, you could do that. This or that. What would be your preference?
I don't know. It's so hard to compare the two.
Well,
audiobook or a podcast.
Because when you're listening to podcasts, you're not always visually seeing it. You're listening. So for me, I feel like if it's like a series for a podcast, I would rather listen to a series of podcasts than just listen to an audiobook. Like, I would want to listen to a part 1, a part 2, a part 3 of a series of a podcast. So for me, I would rather to listen to a podcast than to listen to.
What you say, Anna?
So I don't like audiobooks. So I'm gonna have to go with podcast. Clearly, y'all can see I love actual books, so I don't like audiobooks.
Right.
Yeah. It depends on the book and the voice. But overall,
you got a choice. Listen, it depends on the book.
So complicated.
She said it depends on the book.
I'm reading an audiobook right now.
But you gotta
Before I Let Go. It's really good. It's like a national best-selling book, and it's pretty popular. But yeah, it's about marriage or lack thereof. She went through a divorce and trying to navigate that. Anyway, I ain't gonna tell the whole book, but yeah. I'm on chapter 7. It's pretty good. Like, I don't mind audiobooks, but I do prefer a physical book and being able to flip the pages. And I just feel like when I'm able to read it and the voice inside my head, I get to, I don't know, depict different voices inside of my head for the characters. Versus when I read the audiobook, it's like, okay, that's not what I imagined the voice to sound like. So sometimes it can be a little off. So anyway, I'm going to just say podcast, because consistently I can listen to a podcast and, like, get entertainment from it.
I don't know. I feel like when it comes to, like, a playlist, like, I don't mind listening to audiobooks, y'all, but it's like I'll start out and it get good, and then you know how they're reading those monotone voices, and then I fall asleep.
That's the thing. You got to find a good voice.
It depends. Right. So I'm going to keep going. Yeah. Right. I need to look forward to the next chapter and the next thing, because then I'm just like, oh,
it can't be monotone.
Right. Yeah. All right. So the next this or that. Would you do first class or regular?
On
this
a plane?
Or that for a plane? Yeah, if you're taking a trip. Hold on a second.
Well, obviously, everybody want to do first class if they, they can do it.
I mean, sometimes it might be more expensive, and you might say, "Oh, I don't want to."
But I'm saying, you're saying, would you rather?
Okay. If you had a choice right now, first class or regular?
Where we flying though?
Huh?
Where we flying?
Gotta put y'all on Spirit. No, I'm kidding.
Definitely gotta try to do
Spirit
first class. You're right. Do they?
I don't mess with Spirit because I don't want to be one.
I don't fly for Spirit either, so I have no clue.
I flew them one time.
I don't want to become one child. So I rather Southwest, because I feel like they give me more. Like, you pay for your flight, but then you get an option to bring like 2 luggages in that price, plus a carry-on, plus a personal.
Yeah, and a Wi-Fi free.
Even when I don't need it on a trip, I'm gonna find a reason to bring all 4 bags because I'm paying for it.
Yes.
So they be 30 pounds or less, but baby, I'm paying. So what was y'all choice? First class?
If I have the option, if I can afford to do first class every single time, I would do first class.
First class.
I deserve luxury and the luxury experience.
Okay, because sometimes they got fancy food and it don't taste good. It's just like eating at a really expensive restaurant.
Oh, I'm not eating on the plane.
The food.
I can't eat on the plane.
Space and the other
it's like bathroom food.
Okay, that's why I said, do you have a preference? Y'all could get them little bag of chips in the regular class. I
But
know
who's
y'all
gonna
gonna
be
eat
like,
that.
yeah, put me on the economy flight? If somebody give you the option, they said, don't worry about the cost, like
No,
it's
no,
gonna
no.
be
It's
paid for. Which
not.
one
Don't
you
worry.
want?
It's you coming out of pocket. So that's why I
So
said
you
that.
can't say would you rather.
Regular.
We don't rather take economy because
I
what we
mean,
can afford.
I just wanted to hear y'all thoughts on that. Well,
The
back to
question
the,
was worded wrong.
I could stay in regular class, eat them little sunflower chips or whatever they
Girl.
give. That is okay too.
No, I
But
definitely will fly regular. Southwest.
uh, all right. Would you rather tea or coffee?
Tea.
Tea. What you say?
Tea for me.
Um,
Tea for
I
me too.
mean,
I
of
don't.
late.
You're not even a real coffee drinker.
What,
Your
what you
coffee
mean?
don't
There's a fake one.
count.
Of late, y'all, I'm not gonna lie. I do like me some. Okay, I do like me some Starbucks, the particular Starbucks. I've been drinking that more than I do tea, but tea is very, helpful. But in the mornings and stuff, get
My
yes
phone
out your stomach. But
gonna die, so you might.
I like the tea. Girl,
My phone's about to.
put it on the charger.
I don't have a charger near me right
All
now.
right, the last this or that. This or that. Solo date or group date.
Solo or group.
Yeah, solo group. Like for example, would you rather go on like a date by yourself or like a double date? What would be your preference out of those two?
Both, but it depends on the people I'm going
Can't
with.
be no both.
Sometimes my social battery's on a, so then I would say solo. But when I'm good, I'm on a little group.
Anna, we was talking about she over there
So,
thinking hard.
because I'm like, hold on, if I get to pick the people, double.
Right, depends on the people.
Like I
I
don't
mean,
mind double. Yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't mind solo because I'm like, if it's just you, like you're taking yourself, so you know where you want to go, you know what you want to do. Versus
But see, I
double,
need
sometimes you
somebody to
gotta.
get my pictures. I need somebody to get my content. So I got to double.
But what if you go double and it's like y'all not y'all don't eat the same food. Now y'all sitting here having to agree to like a basic restaurant because you're trying to please everybody. It's just easier by
Oh
yourself.
Okay, so you're
no,
gonna
I'm
say
a pick.
solo.
Oh, so now y'all
I'm a
No,
pick.
I'm saying so.
so
You're gonna say solo. I said I'm gonna do both. It just depends.
you can't do both. You gotta choose in this situation, Kia. It's
When my
either solo
social
or
battery
double.
is
So
full, I'll
that's
do
just
it.
like if you're solo, for example, on a trip, right? If you're solo, you might say, you know what, I want to go, I don't know, to Paris or something. If you have multiple people in the group, they might be like, oh, my pockets don't set up like yours. Now you have to compromise. So
But
it's
no,
the same
no,
thing.
Chanel, we
Okay, if
talk
I'm
about
going
that
to
before we
Paris,
leave.
I am
We
probably
talk
gonna
about that
join a
before
group.
we leave.
Okay, so that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
you
Well,
talk about finance before you. No one's gonna just go to Paris broke.
I know
I'm
I
staying
didn't
home. If I
say
can't
bro
afford
though. I
Paris,
didn't say
you
bro.
ain't gotta
I
worry
just
about
gave
me.
you an example. Like you have more free range when it's you by yourself. But when you have
Agreed.
other people, you gotta,
It
be
depends on the
mindful
But
of
day.
them too.
you can do solo days and you can do your
That's
dates
But
if
yeah,
you're in
what I'm
Paris.
the
saying. It
question is
depends
what
on
do
the
you
day.
the
It's
question is what do y'all
easy to do
prefer?
solo. I'm gonna say
I can
solo,
do I
but
can do
sometimes you need
double.
that social interaction
Boy,
too.
I did not think these questions was gonna be this difficult. I feel like I'm in class all over
Because
again.
sometimes you be so vague. We need details. We be like,
Right.
hold on.
Hey,
Who coming?
I
How much
see
money?
that.
Who
Well, all
buying?
right, y'all. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. We're gonna have Anna close us out to give you a little bit more information where y'all can find her, like social media, if y'all want to connect, if y'all want to learn more, her page and info, and then we'll kind of close out tonight. We're not gonna hold y'all too much longer. Go ahead, Anna.
All right. Well, thank y'all so much for offering this space to me again. It's
Of
always a
course.
pleasure, whether I'm
you're welcome.
here on live with y'all or I'm on my phone typing in the comments. But
Comment.
I'm always grateful to hold space with y'all. I always feel safe and loved when I'm with y'all. So thank you.
Thank
Um,
you.
She's a little
Anybody who
pretty.
wants to connect, you can follow me at theeannainspires on all
Mm-hmm.
social media platforms. If you're looking for a space for wellness, a soft place to land, that's Well Black Girl. We're here. I'm here. If you're looking for a good read, I didn't mention my book, When Black Girls Smile. You can find it on Amazon.
How
It is
you
just
not
an
gonna mention your
inspirational
own
guide.
book? How you
Because
not gonna mention your own
That's
book?
it wasn't
crazy.
in front of me.
Well, y'all, like she said, she's an author, an entrepreneur, a mom, so much more. So if you guys want to connect with her, you can go ahead, Anna. But yeah, just like she stated, she does have a book that you guys can read as well. That's on Amazon.
Oh, and I will say for those of you who are watching and you're in South Florida, my other business, Tribe of Sunflowers, which connects Black creatives and entrepreneurs. We're having our start of the summer. I do coffee break with bosses. It's where we meet over coffee, tea, we get content, we connect with each other. I'm bringing it back. I've been doing it since 2019, but it'll be back in June. So you can find that at Tribe of Sunflowers.
Okay. Is that its own page on Instagram?
Yeah.
Okay.
So drop that down below. And if y'all are just coming in, I'm so sorry, but again, y'all, we're live every Tuesday, and we did have our guest. Thank you so much, Anna, for being
You're
here.
welcome.
Also, see you on next Tuesday. Bye, y'all.
Bye. Good night.